Hi everybody, it's me again, Pinky Bob, and I believe I am mentally prepared to go ahead and open up yet another chapter of my life and the creation of me and who I am. I'm kind of like I don't know exactly what I'm trying to achieve here. I guess it's just, I always feel like if one person can stand up and say something crazy and difficult, then it might encourage other people to have the same difficult conversations. So I guess I'm trying to give someone else hope that tomorrow could be better and maybe strength to talk about it, overcome it. So if that's what these videos do, then awesome. If they're just entertaining, then that's cool too. But this is my story, and I figure why not? Tell it. So let's see. My aunt's house was really, really painful. Obviously, I talked a lot about it. I gave y'all a few good stories. Um, Nothing near close to what actually happened day by day, but we'll leave it at what I said. I will let y'all know that in my family it wasn't accustomed to kind of make up for all the bad stuff with money, so that's why I am the way I am as far as humble and I guess I don't really want to say poor because we're not poor. We eat well, we have a roof over our head, and we all have clothes, so we're happy. But we ain't living big ballin' or straight banking or whatever it is you're supposed to say. Anyway, so there you go. But in my family, it was kind of how we did it. Like I've had I had amazing toys back when I lived with her. I had the Barbie Dream Mansion with the working elevator, completely reupholstered and crushed velour because you know, that's how you get things. In my family, that's how you did it. You had to live through trauma, and you got a lot of great money stuff. So, I'm not a really big money person now. Anyway, we're gonna move on to what happened next because my life is filled with a lot of craziness, and I just think it'd be cool to tell somebody all about it. So, we lived with my aunt for quite a little while. I know it was at least a year. My times are really messed up. That is one of the biggest problems with my memory is that I'm not good with breaking up what exactly the years happened. So I think I was like 6.5, I believe, when I finally got to go meet my dad. He left when I was like, I don't know. Everybody says when I was like a year old, year and a half old, but it was so far back. I don't have any memories of him. So I finally got to go meet my dad when I was 6.5. And that was, I got told a couple days before, let me tell y'all this. I got it told a couple days before. Me and my brother both got told that we were going to go. Got the opportunity to leave my aunt's house and go live with my dad. And we both definitely wanted to do that. Y'all could only imagine why. And, I don't know, I created this man in my head. I thought my dad was going to be this, like, amazing hero. He was going to be the hero of my story. So I built this dream up of what I hoped he was. And when I met him, don't mistake what I say, my dad was an amazing person. God, he was. And I will miss him forever. We'll get to that too. But yeah. Just say my first impression was the lasting. So we left my aunt's house and we got to go live with my dad and his first wife, second wife, first stepmom. I don't know how many wives. Anyway, the first stepmom I got to meet. And hopefully I'm going to only name drop this woman's name, and I'm going to try not to name drop anyone else's. I'm not looking for justice or anything like that. I'm just trying to tell my story. So my stepmom, Wendy, she was, we actually called her Wendy the Witch. And she earned that name really well. So yeah, I gotta get my brasses together to try to tell this, because y'all, it's a lot harder than I thought it was going to be, just so y'all know. But, so let's start with Wendy. Wendy was my dad's old lady, and she had one kid by him. That was my baby sister, the first of many, 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 many children to come from my daddy. Well, the third, I guess, technically, but the first from her. Anyway, Moving on. And she had another kid. His name was Jonathan. And he was like 14 or 15. I know he was a teenager. So let's start with Wendy and meeting her. I know y'all have heard stories of like evil stepmoms. This woman is where they created those stories from. I'm not even kidding. Because you always think, oh, I'm going to have a great stepmom. I'm going to have a great dad. Like, I've lived through some crap already. I'm only like a little kid, and I just want that fairy tale picket fence that everyone keeps describing. I'll leave it to Beaver. And so you build up this hope, and when it's crushed, it's crushed. And Wendy crushed it big. So she actually gave me my second issue. I cannot be around the smell of NyQuil. It will make me nauseous. And sometimes I'll vomit. And the sight of a stewed tomato, like the actual full-boiled tomato, like even describing it makes me just... She only knew how to cook two things. Or at least my guess is I only ever got two things. You either got liver and onions, and basically it was like large chunky pieces of very funky flavored meat, and it was slimy, and these big curly pieces of onion that were half cooked. And you either got that or stewed tomatoes every night. And if you didn't eat your food, you got your ass beat violently. I quickly get used to that feeling. But you get your ass beat and sent to your room. And the next morning, you'd wake up to breakfast, and it would just be the leftover supper that you didn't eat. And you would continue that process until either you ate the god awful food, or it went bad, and you started with a new food. Once again, you only got two choices. I watch cartoons a lot. I really did like cartoons back then. I still do. It's probably why. Everybody on there looks so happy. Everything was so great for them. I just wanted to escape there. Anyway. So Wendy was also pretty abusive in different ways from my aunt. I don't actually know if I had to say who was worse, but they were both pretty relentless, pretty bad. I think my aunt was probably worse, but still. Next is my dad, who was there. Like I said, I built him up. I built him up to be so great. I really just wanted him to be my hero. And I wanted him to love me because I really didn't know what that felt like. I wasn't sure. I know that sounds weird and it sounds wrong, but everybody I'd come in contact with, they weren't really nice people, so I didn't know what was wrong with me. And I wanted my dad to be the one person that would just wrap me up and hug me and tell me that this was all going to be okay. But I didn't get that. Like I said, I really love my dad. But the only real couple of memories I have of him, I think kind of molded who he was for me. The first one gave me my first real phobia. A phobia, for those who don't know, it's an unnatural fear. It's something you can't control. You can't get rid of. And it doesn't have to make any sense to anybody else. I am scared to death of needles. They freak me out. Like, I can't even be in a room with someone. The word freaks me out. And I have tattoos, so it's like, that's an oxymoron. But we'll get to all that. But, The first memory I actually have of my dad, I remember Wendy left to the store, and my dad was there. He worked a lot, and he was home though. And I wanted to go in there and see him and kind of, do the whole father-daughter Disney moment. And he was in his room, and the door was cracked, and so I kind of opened the door, and I walked in. My dad was laying there on the bed. He wasn't moving. He was just laying there. He looked weird. And I walked up closer, and I seen he had a needle in his arm. That freaked me out. I thought my dad was dead. And all I could think is the needle killed him, and I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why I thought that. I don't know any of that. But I ran up and I just kind of shook him really quick. And I screamed at him, and he woke up, and the needle fell out. And I just, in my mind, that was what did it. I didn't understand what drugs were then, so in my mind, it was the needle that hurt my dad and made him like that. So I freaked out. And anytime anyone came at me with a needle after that, it was on, serious. It was serious, really bad, for real. I'm still like that. I'm 30 something years old, and still come at me with a needle. Watch what happens. It's awful. So that was my dad. The only actual great memory I have of him, looking back, I'm like, wow, I think he was fucked up. Which is really fucked up. But we were listening to music. Oh my God, that was the first time I'd ever really felt music. I don't know. It was my escape. The melody, the tune, it touched something in my soul, and it healed a piece of me for just a brief moment. I felt no pain. I wasn't afraid. I didn't worry. I just felt free. Music saved me in such a way. It was so beautiful. But we were listening. I don't know the band. I'm the worst person ever to do band names, but we were listening to a Shot to the Heart. And I think it was AC/DC. It might have been Guns N' Roses. I'm sorry to every music buff out there that I don't know this, but we were listening to Shot Through the Heart, and I would run up, and he would poke me in the chest shot through the heart, and then he would throw me across the bed. You're to blame. You give love a bad name. And it was just, that was my Disney moment. And that was the moment I carried with me. So, thank you to music. Thank you so much for saving me. I don't care if you listen to rock or grunge, heavy metal or country, rap or anything. Music is beautiful, and it can save a person's soul. It can bring you out of so much. It can change your mood, and I encourage you to go find music, because it is great stuff. So then there's Jonathan, which is Wendy's son. Yeah. Guess that I don't know which house was worse. But I can tell you my aunt was definitely more on top of the abuse kind of thing. I don't know how to say it. I don't know. I hate to say she was a skilled abuser, but she really was. She was good at it. Looking back, I was like, God, she was hardcore. But like a Subaru, man, I'm still standing. I lived. Thank you. I lived to tell this tale. Dirty laundry. But yeah, anyway. Jonathan. Jonathan used to play this game. It's called Fortune Teller. He would go in his room and he would build this tent up. You couldn't see inside of it. It was all over the bed. It was kind of like hung up. And he would call us in one by one, and I don't know what he did with my brother. I don't know. I try not to think about it, I guess. But anyway, he would call us in there one by one, and when it was my turn, he would pull off my clothes, and he would touch me, and he would kiss me. And that would go on and on. And that was my life at my dad's. So again, I don't know, because like I have that one perfect memory, and nothing can touch that. And it gave me music. That was a lot of hardship to have to go through again. And that lasted for about 6 months. And then we go back to my mama. And that woman. Music healed me, and it helped me. Mama, she saved me. And she taught me what love was for the first time ever. So, we will start chapter 3 on a high note. I hope y'all, I don't know, got something out of this.